I'm doing this podcast with the soul and heart. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. I'm dedicating this podcast completely to you. Also, I'm going to be talking about my experiences with Nipsey Hussle and his killer. So definitely stay tuned. Rest in peace, bro. We'll miss you. With that being said, KBLP LLC, thank you all for rocking with me in the world of Mad VladBrad.
This is gonna feel real good, alright? Most dope. Everybody please put a thumb in the air. Hey.
1, 2, 3, 4. Some crazy ass kids coming knock up on your door.
Okay. Oh, where do I start? I've been gone for I didn't upload a podcast last week because that was because this whole turmoil with this situation with Nipsey Hussle dying and everything else. It's been very hectic on a lot of people, believe it or not. So I'm going to share my experience. This is nothing like clickbait. I'm going to get right to the nitty gritty. I'm not going to stall you guys out. I'm not going to beat around the bush. But honestly, I'm not my upbeat self like I usually am. It's because this definitely kind of affected me. Like, not even kind of. I'm definitely affected by this because I knew him. I definitely, I've known him. I mean, before I get into that, I want to say shout out to King Cannabis for, sponsoring this. Greatly appreciate it. But in terms of me doing the characters like I usually do and being the zany, goofy, charismatic me, I'm not going to be that today. For this specific podcast, I'm definitely going to give you guys another piece of my world and experience so you guys can kind of get to know me even better because this situation definitely hit close to home. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start off with California, Southern California, really quick. I'm going to tell you guys about that so you guys can have an idea what I mean and what I'm talking about. You have cities that are in Southern California. I live in Southern California right now, and that's where I live at. So here's how it works, right? Here's exactly how it works. You have from every city that you have, right? You have, I'm going to say Beverly Hills. People who aren't from here, all you guys, I'm giving you guys like a, kind of a demographic, if you will. But yeah, you have Beverly Hills. Everybody, you guys all heard of that. You have Santa Monica. You guys heard of that. You have Venice, which is Venice Beach in Venice. You guys heard of that. Culver City. You also have Hawthorne. You have Lawndale. You have Southgate. You have the Comptons. You have the South Centrals. You have the Watts. You have, what else do you have? You have the Studio City. You have Lenox, California. The list goes on. Oh, then you have Long Beach, which is kind of a little further out, but still. With that being said, if you live in the cities that I just named, you frequent through. Oh, also you have Southgate and whatever. But if you live in any of the cities that I just named, all the cities. Oh, also you have Hollywood as well. But from these cities, you frequent people who live in them other cities. They drive through South Central Los Angeles and everything. Like, they frequent through there. Like, let's say you're a rich white person, right? You're a rich white dude or female, whatever. Let's say you own a house in Beverly Hills. Like, they still drive through South Central. They're not going to tell you that. I'm giving you guys the real. You see what I mean? I'm giving you guys the real. They drive through it, but a lot of times they don't stop. If they don't stop, but they still drive through. Me, I'm no exception to that rule. I drive through as well, But the thing about me, I'm a genuine person. I'm a genuine person completely. So, getting with that being said, just like the title of the video I said before, in my like I wrote in my title, if y'all read it, I said my experience with Nipsey Hussle and his killer. Yes, that's not that. Those are facts, and I'm gonna get those facts to you guys right now. What I'm saying is this. First, let me speak. Thundercat, Nipsey Hussle, you guys know him as, the rapper and everything. He was an awesome dude, very awesome, man. And, as a child, I would go back and forth from the East Coast to the West and everything else. But then I started residing in the West. But during my exploits back and forth, as far as, my mom had a church she went to, and, Nipsey Hussle, I'm going to call him that because that's what you guys know him as. So I'm going to just say Nipsey Hussle because that's what you guys know him as, whatever. So with him, his family went to a church not too far from my mother's church. Everybody, know each other in that area. My mom's from them areas, and, I seen him as a kid, and, so I know him, like, I didn't hang out with him all the time. But he knew who I was and I knew who he was. It wasn't like I didn't go looking to hang out with him all like that, but he was always a good, quiet kid. Like there's people I can name that I've known that I didn't hang out with them, but you just know that you know them. We all have people like that in our lives. You know them. You don't ever remember meeting them, but you just knowing them your whole life, kind of one of them kind of situations, So it wasn't no different with him. So anyway, I've seen his rise, and I've seen, from him, his hustle when he used to sell his CD, his tapes or whatever, all, and it was, I remember all that. I have a memory of that. So anyway, his rise, and he was always talented, but he was a quiet kid. He wasn't a loud, obnoxious. He wasn't one of those, aggressive mentality kind of kids. He was just always laid back and just chill, always as a kid. Based on what I've known from my experience with him, With that being said, we all grew up and got older. We grow up, we get older. So as we got older, this is killing me to even talk about this, honestly, but, I've been gone. I didn't share, I haven't did a podcast, so I'm definitely going to share this with you guys, Yeah. So anyway, as a kid, we all got up, we grew up, whatever. And, as we grew up, we chose our paths in life and everything. And, he started, making a name for himself in the streets in terms of being a rapper and everything else. And I was like, wow, he's pretty sick. I remember listening to some of his music. And again, I'm not the biggest rap fan, honestly. I'm not the biggest rap fan. You guys have said that already, but he's one of the rare ones that I do listen to, So, he was just that good of an artist. He was nominated for a Grammy. So that says a lot about his skill set. Anyway, I was driving one day, so you guys know for sure what I'm talking about. I was driving down Slauson. I'm going to tell you how it works. I'm coming from Culver City, and say the street Slauson to take you all the way to Culver City. Like it'll take you all the way to the Fox Hills Mall, which is located in Culver City. So I was driving down Slauson, and it was like last year's, like mid last year sometime. Driving down Slauson, and I seen a bunch of people out there when I hit Slauson and Crenshaw. So as I was hitting Slauson and Crenshaw, I looked on the right, and I seen that he was out there by his what's it called? I can't even think straight, but it was the Marathon, his clothing store, the Marathon. And I said, you know what? Let me see what this dude is about. Let me see what let me get out. I'm gonna go park and see if I can get a picture with him, or if I could kind of speak to this dude. Let's see what he's about. So I go park, whatever, and I get out, and I was waiting in line or whatever. I waited for like about maybe no more than 15 minutes. But I'm going to tell you how real this dude was. I'm going to tell you how genuine this Nipsey Hussle dude is. I'm going to just tell you guys. As soon as he seen me, he said, hey, you guys make a beeline, man. Y'all move out the way. And, he's like, hey, come on, man. What's up, man? It's not like, oh, yo, what's up? And I'm talking to him, man. It's been a minute, man. How you been? I'm like, man, it's cool, man. It is that, man. How your family doing? Man, they good. How your moms, everybody? Yeah, they good, man. And we just catching up. You see what I mean? So, I remember I was clowning with him at the back in the day. I was trying to get my little beard going. I did a YouTube video about it. And I remember I was telling him, I said, bro, let me borrow your beard for a second. You mind if I borrow it? He thought that was funny. I showed him some of my YouTube videos. He thought it was funny back in the day when I kind of started doing it. He thought it was pretty funny and everything. He's like, man, you was crazy. And he was telling me, man, I be going on tour now, man, this and that, whatever. I'm doing it now. And like, I was like, yeah, man, that's really cool. And he was like, yo, man, if you ever free, you more than welcome to come and this and that. I said, no, I appreciate it, man. I'm cool. I got things going. Plus I got my son and this and that or whatever. I mean, he was just such a down to earth dude, man. Like he was just so real, so genuine, and it just kills me what happened to him. It just kills me, but, not to take, people are quick to blame themselves for stuff. I don't blame myself, but I mean, a lot of times I go through withdrawals when I think, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to get back to Nipsey in a second. I'm going to talk about him again in a second because, it's really hard for me to do this. I mean, he was a really cool, down to earth, real chill. I mean, he was very approachable, very approachable. I said I wasn't going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about something else. Let me get back to that. So let's talk about the faggot who killed him. Excuse my language. No disrespect to anybody. Let's talk about him. I seen him around too. Again, living in Southern California, you see people. You know what I mean? I seen that dude around. I never knew his name. I never spoke to him. But let me tell you my experience with this clown. Let me tell you my experience with him. My friend Kev, they call him Baby Kevin. Excuse my language, but Baby Kevin they call him black ass Baby Kevin and everything else. Or black ass Baby Kev. That's his name, My best friend in the world. One of my best friends in the world. One day he calls me and I might have him on the show. I might have him as a guest. We might both talk about this because he remembered it just like I do. I'm sure. He's telling me, yeah, Zach, I need you to pick me up, man. And I'm like, it was like 2 a.m. I'm like, man, where's pick you up from where? And he like, man, look, man, I'm out here, man, so-and-so and such and such. And, I'm just being real with you guys, Baby Kevin, and, he's a blood, he's a gang member. And he was like, look, man, can you come get me? Cause he was in a situation. He got into it with his girl and then it was a bunch of, Crips around the neighborhood at the time. And he knew if he went outside that they was going to try to have at him. And I tell him like this. I said, okay, look, he said, look, I need this favor, man. Just please come get me. This is going on. I said, all right. I said, look, check this out. If I get there, I tell him like this. I said, okay, I'm going to come pick you up, but you better be outside when I get there. I said, if you're not outside when I get there, I'm leaving. You see what I mean? Like I tell him he said, I'm going to be outside. I promise, man. I said, all right, look, I'll be there. I'll be there in 20 minutes, man. So I go there and, I go there, I pick him up and everything else. And, first I get there, I'm looking for him. I said, oh, he ain't out here. I'm gone. So he said, no, Lane, wait, I'm right here. So he gets in the car in my truck at the time. So we drive off and, again, he's like a brother to me, so he's telling me, what happened with him and his girl, how they got into a fight, and I'm telling, he's like, man, look, she just tripping on me for no reason and this and that or whatever. And then he's pulling out a cigarette, starting to smoke. And, so he telling me, man, if you didn't come get me when you did, man, if I would have to been outside, cause he was on probation. So he said, I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. I'm on probation. And, if she'd have called the police, not on probation. My apologies. He had a warrant at the time. He said, she'd have called the police on me. He said they would have took my black ass to jail. He said, or if I would have went outside, they would have tried to shoot my black ass. If I would have, either way it went, I was through. So I told him, I said, I said, you might as well let them shoot you smoking them cigarettes. That's gonna kill you anyway. Hold on. with that being said, there's no disrespect to anybody who's smoking cigarettes or whatever. No disrespect to anybody. I want to say that's just a joke that I said to him. That was just a joke. I didn't mean it, because you have billions of people who smoke. I mean, everybody do what you want to do. I'm not condoning it, nor am I advocating it. You know what I mean? I'm neutral to it. So I just want to make sure I'm not telling anybody to go out and smoke cigarettes, nor am I telling people to don't smoke cigarettes. You see what I mean? I'm neutral on the subject matter. That's not the focal point. So if you smoke, more power to you. If you don't smoke, more power to you. People do what they want to do in their lives. You see what I mean? But I'm just saying that was a joke that I said to him. So no problem. Nobody smokes. I have nothing against smokers. Nor am I advocating smokers. You see what I mean? So I just want to clarify that really quick. So with that being said, that was just a joke. So he said he had no comeback for that. So anyway, I said, man, I got to stop and get some gas because I'm damn near on E. And so I stop at a gas station right off of, for those who are familiar with Southern California, they know what I'm talking about. It's a Shell, and it's in LA. This is in LA. It's right off of Manchester and Crenshaw. It's a Shell gas station on Crenshaw, Manchester, on the way to taking him home. So we stop at the Shell. And when we stop there, here's where I see the dude. Here's where I seen the dude that, killed Nipsey Hussle. I pull up, he pull up. I don't know this dude, but I seen him before. I've never spoke to him. We pull up at the same time. So, I said, let me hurry up and get out the car because, I want to, get my gas and everything, but he get out before I do. And he's about to go to go, because at night you can't go inside. Mind you, it's 2 a.m. So, you can only, for those who know how gas stations work, you can walk up to the window and pay for your gas, whatever. So he gets out his car first and I hurry up and hop out mine and I get to the window before he do. I cut him off. You see what I mean? And, he looking at me kind of with a mug on his face. So I look back, so I'm assuming this is what he's thinking about me. He's thinking I'm by myself, right? And, he's looking and he's looking like saying, this dude, this tall, white, pasty looking dude over here in a hood at this late at night. That's what he's probably thinking, but I don't have this kind of mentality anymore back how I had back then. And, I just didn't like the dude. Like I didn't like him when I first seen him. You know how when you first see people, I don't never judge a book by its cover, but he looked like a weasel when I first laid eyes on him. He said, and I remembered that face. I remembered it. Mind you, I to this day, I never spoke to that man. Never spoke to him to this day. But I remember his face. I will see him throughout LA every now and then. And I'm sure he see my face. He remember me. Believe me, he know the face, but he never spoke to me either. At the time, Kevin's in the car and he's looking, in my truck and he's looking. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get, and now I'm taking my time on purpose because I don't like the look this dude gave me. I don't like it. So I'm like, yeah, let me get let me have a 30 on number 4. And, let me get, while you at it, let me get I'm trying to think, should I get an orange juice? Cause I'm kind of thirsty. Now I'm taking my time. You see what I mean? And dude, he looking at me with a mean look, like, would you hurry up? Like that's the look that's on his face. You see what I mean? And, because and I want him to say something. You know what I mean? But because at the time, mind you, I'm younger, and I really, I'm like kind of like, I don't have that mentality anymore. You see what I mean? But this is a situation I encountered with this man. I think it's something, I forgot something Holden. I don't know the dude name, but whatever his name is. But the dude, the dude who killed Nipsey Hussle. So anyway, he's at the gas station. I'm at the gas station, and what he don't know is Kev at the time he got that cannon. You see what I mean? Kev got something the size of an 8-year-old. You see what I mean? That if Kevin decided to let off, he would have blew chunks out of him. You see what I mean? He would have got chunks blown out of him. Like, how with regular guns with the little, you shoot, they hit with the bullet and the bullets hit you. With these, about the size of apples. chunks the size of apples got to get blown out of him. You see what I mean? Like, and Kev had the infrared, he had the beam point, he had it aimed on him. You see what I mean? So he don't know what kind of danger he really in. So if he would have reached and did anything crazy, it would have been a wrap. It would have been over with. You see what I mean? I wish he would have reached. I wish he would have did some kind of reaching. I wish he would have. You see what I mean? His guts would have been splattered all over that window. Like, for real. You see what I mean? So, and again, I don't advocate the use of guns. I don't. I think a real man uses fists. And that's what I believe. You know, if you have a problem with another man, you know, talk it out and resolve it. You know, but if you got to get physical, you know, come with fists. You see what I mean? If you have to get physical, that's how I feel. But remind you, this is, you know, however long ago it was. You know, again, I don't have that same mindset I have. So right now I'm kind of emotional talking about, you know, what happened with Nipsey Hussle, and you know, and I'm giving you guys my experience based, you know, going through that area. Okay, so yeah, with that being said, he finally, you know, I leave the window, and he, you know, he get his gas or whatnot, I'm sure, you know, and I drive off. But you know, he you know, when you snake like that, you pick and choose your battles, because I remember them beady eyes. He got them beady snake like eyes, and I knew he was a coward, you know, because the thing about it is this. I'm all for, like, again, I advocate if you have a problem with somebody, like you know, if it have to be physical, like I'm more than willing to come with fists. Like I advocate that completely, you know, not to gas myself up or anything, but I'm a pretty formidable dude. You know, I'm like, again, I'm 6'5", 205 pounds of mostly muscle. I mean, for those of you to see my YouTube channel, it's easy to see what I look like. Like, I'm not hiding behind nothing. You can go scope me out on there. You know what I mean? And you can see what I look like. I mean, my whole facial's on there. I mean, look at the cover of if you see the cover of my, of my KBLP LLC, the cover of my, of my emblem, you obviously see, you know, I'm posing, I got my head down. You see what I kind of look like a little bit. But I'm very formidable. You see what I mean? So the thing about, and I'm healthy and in good shape and can fight. You see what I mean? So if dude went to throw blows, I'd have been all for it. You see what I mean? But he's, you know, he's a coward. He want to use a gun. He's one of them kind of cowards. You see what I mean? So and this is why I said we should have blown holes out of him that night. We should have blew holes out of him. That's what we should have did. You see what I mean? When I think about it, man, you know, but it's all good, you know. You know, what happened, you know. I'm not going to sit here and beat myself over the head over it, you know. So yeah, and let me say this. Let me say this. Before I forget my point, I have to say this. I'm going to bring up Kodak Black. And you guys, why am I bringing Kodak Black? For those who don't know, he said something about Nipsey Hussle's wife, saying how he wanted to connect and hook up with her and everything else now that he's gone. And he got all kind of backlash on social media. Like, I mean, rappers is coming at his head for what he said. And here's the thing. I know I'm a prophet. I know I must have been a prophet in another lifetime, because for those of you who are my real fans, you guys heard my podcast, my YouTube. I've been saying I didn't like this dude. I've been saying it. You know, and probably not even 2 podcasts ago, I spoke about people that I don't like celebrities that I don't like. And he's one of the celebrities that I said that I do not like. And now y'all need to start sharing my stuff, man. Like, I mean, for real. You know what I mean? Because I've been brung this clown up. I've been saying I didn't like this dude. And now look, T.I. went at this dude's head. The rapper The Game went at this dude's head. Gilly the Kid went at this dude's head. Rappers and celebrities is going at this man because of what he said about Nipsey Hussle's wife, man. You know, this dude is a coward. He's gutless. And I'm gonna tell you what I would do to him. Him and you know, I put Kodak in a category of that Weasel dude, the dude I was just talking about. I categorize him with him. I'm gonna tell you what I would do. I wouldn't even. Here's what I would do. Right, put us in a room. Put us in like I would say like put me in like in a room with him. You know, like say. How can I say, like, say a room with like a 50-foot wide room. You know what I mean? And I will beat him to death with my bare hands. That way, cause see, I keep it, be fair about it. You have feet, I have feet. You have hands, I have hands. You see what I mean? Let's be fair about this. So we'll come from the shoulders, head up. That's what I would do to him. Kodak Black, that faggot who killed Nipsey, excuse my language, Lord, forgive me for the language. But yeah, that's what I do. I go head up with him. Beat him to death with my bare hands. That's what I would do. You see what I mean? They're cowards is what they are. They cowards. But I've been speaking on this dude. I've been said he was. And now everybody else seeing the type of coward this dude is. Everybody else is seeing it now. You see what I mean? So it's crazy that when I speak on people, and lo and behold, they get revealed. You see, it's crazy that it's crazy. You know, anyway, with that being said, shout out to, you know, the podcasters on KBLP LLC, you know, shout out to all of you guys and everything else. But this is a podcast that definitely had to be done because, it was heavy on my heart. And, you know, the way that it happened, it was such a coward move. I mean, for those of you guys that seen the tape of how, you know, Nipsey Hussle was killed, the dude, you know, he shot him, and he shot him a few times. Then he ran away because he thought he was going to get retaliated on. And that's what I don't understand. I don't understand why Nipsey didn't have people with guns or other shooters there with him. Like nobody had any weapons, because the dude, when he shot Nipsey, he ran away because he thought he was going to get shot back at, is what he thought. And then after that, once he seen that nobody else was shooting back at him, then he went and shot Nipsey again and then kicked him. You know what I mean? Like, you're a coward for that, bro. I'm going to tell you how I feel. And people going to think I'm crazy for what I'm about to say. But I hope he get acquitted. I hope he gets acquitted for the murder. I hope he don't go to prison. I hope the Christopher Darden dude does a job and they release him. You know why? I wish that, because I want the streets to deal with him. You see what I mean? Here's what happened. If he goes to prison, he's going to PC up. And for those who don't know that term, he's going to go to prison and be in protective custody. That's what he's going to do. He's going to go there, be in protective custody, and he's going to live. But even if they going to get him there too. He going to get God, but he's going to live a little longer. Versus if you release him to the street, if he gets released to the street, what's going to happen is it can render street justice on him. Then the wolves can come out of the animals can get him. You see what I mean? So I hope he get off so the streets can get him. You see that's what you really want happening. That's what you want. That's what really should happen to this man. You know, but yeah. When I seen the footage initially, when I said, wait a minute. And then when they finally had a suspect, I was like, my heart stopped. I was like, that's that same dude. But it's not just him. You know, I run into people on the street that I haven't spoke to. You know, like you just see people around, you see them. People see me around. And the thing about me, I'm like a beacon. Like I stand out like a sore thumb. So I know like there are people that come up to me. As God is my witness, people come up to me. Oh man, I remember seeing you on such and such and so and such and such. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, what's up, man? Like, and I speak back to the people, but I'm like, I have no idea who this is. But see, the fact that I'm so tall and I'm so bright in terms of complexion, I stand out. You know, I'm not like the average person. I mean, and I'm not even trying to gas myself. Like, say, if I see somebody who look like myself, they will stand out to me. Like somebody, if you stand out when you tall alone. If you tall, you stand out. Just period, just by being tall. But let's say that if you tall and you bright or whatever, with a real light complexion, you stand out even more. You see what I mean? So I move careful in these streets. You know, like even myself, I move like a celebrity. Like I really do. I don't move like the normal person would move. Because I know that I stand out. So I make sure I don't make enemies. Here's an old saying, right? That most people use. They say, keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer. No. Here's a saying how it goes. Here's how I think. I thought before, you know, is, no, keep your enemies close and keep your pistols closer. You see what I mean? But I don't have the mentality anymore. But I mean, that's the mentality that I lived by for a long time. You know, but my ear stopped up. That's crazy. Talking about this, it really just I'm affected by this. But I'm gonna tell you guys what this man with Nipsey Hussle, how awesome of a human being he was. I'm gonna tell you guys why he's being missed so much, because he was doing so much, you know, in the urban communities, in the urban, you know, black communities, whatever. Not even just the black community, urban black and Hispanic communities, you know, because, you know, I'm just, you know, in the ghetto, I would say, you know, blacks and Hispanics get along for the most part, are making it work. Southern California. This is what Nipsey Hussle was doing. He was helping people who were minorities. Whether you were black, Hispanic, if you was a minority, he would look out for you. You know, and I'm gonna tell you what he was doing. You know, he was buying buildings, right? You know how people try to open their businesses up? Like he'll help you help yourself. That's what the type of man he was. Like he help if you have any goals or ambition, he was making your goal, your ambition, putting it to flourishing. Like he was buying buildings and renting out spaces. You know how like if you rent a space out in an area, it costs, you have to pay the rent for the space, whatever business. He was charging people little to no money, you know, for them to get their businesses off the ground with spaces. I mean, he was doing that, you know, so he helped them out. You know, people's open up beauty parlors. He was opening up, you know, beauty parlors, barbershops, food joints, you name it, burger joints. Matter of fact, my boy Ernesto, he opened up a rim shop. You know, I was going to have him put some rims on one of my joints back in the day. And, you know, because of Nip, you know, Nip hooked it up where he was helping, he was looking out for people. But not only that, he was also, you know, buying buildings for low income housing for those, you know, because living in Los Angeles can be expensive. You know, and on my last podcast, I talked about, you know, living in Los Angeles and expense and everything else, and a rise in the property value because of the stadium, the ramp stadium they're building. What Nipsey Hussle was doing, he was buying buildings, you know, he had construction going on where he was for people who had low income housing for they could live there. Like he was really being resourceful in his community. And, man, my heart bleeds for his family. My heart bleeds for him. It really does. I mean, I'm really crushed by this. So yeah, with that being said, he was really, you know, and then I'm sure you guys knew that he was going to meet up with the chief of police to stop the gang violence. Like he was going to do that the very next day. I have some footage of, you know, out there where all the gangs of Los Angeles were coming together as a piece because of him. That's how powerful this man was. You know, that's how monumental he was. And they did a march the other day, and I was out there to see most of it and everything. And it was pretty epic. It was pretty epic. And I'm blown away. I'm really just, I can't believe I'm talking about this. Honestly, I can't believe that I'm really in shock. Really. So yeah, with that being said, that's how monumental this man was, you know, to the community. Also, like I was saying, I see people all the time that there are other guys that I see that I don't like. And there's other people I see that I don't speak to, right? There's people I see that I don't like. I just, you know, and that dude, I think something Holden, whatever his name was, I don't know what the man's name, but the dude who killed Nipsey, he was one of them that I seen. But there's people that I see that I do like that I haven't spoke to. I said, oh, he seemed like a pretty cool dude, very well mannered, respectful. Like you just got to use your intuition and your perception. You could just tell somebody who when they're a dirtbag versus somebody who's a real person. You see what I mean? So even now when I go out and, you know, if I when I frequent my in my daily lives, I'm running into people, especially like if I'm at the gym. That's another place I see people, and you know, that I like, and people I don't like, just based off my intuition and based off my perception. Example, like, you know, I did a video on my YouTube where I was inside the gym, and you know, and I was talking about how they, you know, people blasting loud music in the gym, you know, annoying and disrespectful. I mean, you know, I basically said, you know, I'm gonna tell you guys what happened off camera. You know, on the camera, on my YouTube video, I said, oh, you know, it's black dudes over there in the corner blasting music real loud. Like I said it, and I said it on my YouTube, you know, and when I said it, you know, I was basically, you know, at the time I was doing a common sense video, and once the video came off, you know, I got approached by one of the dudes that I didn't like. He said, "Oh, did you say something about dudes, you know, with music?" I said, "Yeah, I did say that. I was making a video about, I mean, I don't hold my tongue. I mean, it was what it was." I said, "Yeah, I was saying how, you know, dudes is, you know, playing loud music, how you guys was over there doing. I did a video, and I said, yeah, it's on my YouTube. That's what you want to hear what I say, you can go check that out." And I gave him I told him the link to my YouTube joint and everything. And, you know, he just kind of left it at that. I mean, you know, he approached me about it. Some random guy. This was just some random guy, you know, and, some random dude that I see around and I didn't like him. I just, you know, call himself approaching me. And, I mean, and he could have took it how he wanted to take it. You know what I mean? Take it how you want to take it. I mean, if you're offended by it, I mean, it's an old saying said, get off where you get mad at. That's basically saying, it's slang terminology for saying, okay, if you want to fight, you know, fight. I mean, if you mad, punch, swing at me. That's basically what that's saying. Get off where you get mad at. Like, that's that kind of saying, you know, and I'm all for that. I mean, it's okay. I said that. And, you know, like, that's the mentality I had at the time. I had that mentality at the time, you know, but, the thing about it was, so basically, you know, you encounter people that, you know, you come across that you have a good feeling about, and then you encounter people that you have a bad feeling about. You see what I mean? But yeah, the dude who killed Nipsey Hussle, I've definitely encountered, you know, him on a few occasions. Again, I never spoke to him, but I remember that. I remember his slimy face. That I do remember. You see what I mean? But the closest encounter I had with him was at that gas station. That's the closest encounter in terms of me having that close encounter. But I've seen him on Crenshaw before. Another time, I seen him in a. I'm gonna tell you guess where I seen him at, so you guys know what I'm talking about. It's the mall, like the Crenshaw Mall. It's really called the Baldwin Hills Mall. That's what it's called. But the real name of it is the Baldwin Hills Mall. But for those domestically, they call it the Crenshaw Mall. Now, I'm going to tell you where that mall is located on Crenshaw and Stalker Street. It's called, Crenshaw and Stalker. And, you drive down Stalker. I mean, you drive down Crenshaw and you turn on Stalker, and then the mall is like right up in that little section. I was up in that mall like a few years back, you know. I mean, I'll frequent that mall every so often, but a few years back I seen them up in there too, because it was a situation up in there where, it was like an up and coming artist trying to rap and everything up in there. And he was in there. A bunch of guys was in there, and I seen him in there even then. A bunch of people. And I said, okay, what's that? I stumbled across it by accident, honestly. I was in there, honestly, to eat some pizza. I don't know why I was in there. I was in here for something, but I happened to see that, and I seen a bunch of guys in there. He was one of the dudes I seen. You know, it was a rapper who was, you know, I guess whoever the rapper was, he didn't make a name for himself. He didn't come out with nothing. But, so he was, I guess, whatever. So anyway, let me give you guys some more history. But yeah, anyway, but that's when I first seen the dude who killed Nipsey Hussle. That's when I first seen him. He was at the Crenshaw Mall. I seen his face then, you know, because I don't forget faces. I don't, and especially somebody I don't like. If you give me a bad feeling, like if you give me like a creepy feeling, if I get the chills, if I'm around you, I'm not gonna forget your face. You see what I mean? That's just the type of person that I am. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm a prophet. I don't know, because again, I spoke on a Kodak Black, how I couldn't stand him. I didn't like him. I've been saying that a long time ago in my other podcast, and now he getting blasted on social media by all these other rappers. So maybe I have that. It's something that I have, you know. But anyway, that's when I first encountered that guy. I was in a mall. But let me give you guys a history. You know, Nipsey Hussle was trying to help that dude, man. and the dude still turned around and killed him. The dude was a whack rapper. He couldn't rap. He had no rap skills, and he wanted to be a rapper himself. So he called himself being jealous of Nipsey. That's basically what it was about. People say it was about, the situation Nipsey had with him about, he told him not to come around. I'm sure you guys heard the rumors for those who heard the situation, but that's not it at all. Dude was just jealous, and here's the thing. Here's what's sad about it. Here's what's sad. Anybody, especially if you're in Los Angeles, right? If you put forth the work, you could be anywhere. You don't have to be in, I'm just saying, it's all the resources are here in LA, for the most part. But he could have been in the same position Nipsey Hussle had, had he put forth the effort and initiative. Here's what Nipsey Hussle had that most people don't have. He had work ethic. Hustle was an understatement for him. Like, he was a hustler in terms of he really put gears into what he was trying to do. He put gears into it. He was really trying. He was grinding for a long time. You see what I mean? And he was reaping the benefits of his hard work and his success. Anybody could do that if you put your heart in the right place. If you put your time and effort and you really want it, you can get it. You see what I mean? But the thing is, most people, they don't think that way. They want it right now. Like, people want $1 million handed to them. They don't want to go work for it. They don't want to go hustle. They don't want to go grind teeth and nail for it. Most people want to give it to them right now. Or give me $1 million right now. They don't want to work for it. They want to grind hard for it. And that's what that dude Nipsey did. He grind hard for it, and he went out and worked for it. He's selling CDs and tapes and everything. He was just really on his grind. You see what I mean? And so you jealous of a man who was on his grind, who really worked hard, tooth and nail, blood and sweat, tears and everything else, who really went out and did it and made it happen for himself, and you jealous? You see what I mean? You could have did that yourself. How you gonna get mad at this man because he went out and worked hard to attain what he wanted to get? You get out of it what you put into it, and he put his all into it, and he reaped the benefits from what he put into it. God bless his soul, man. God bless Nipsey's soul. But this buster is what he is. He was jealous. Instead of putting in the hard work himself, he wanted Nipsey to hand him the mic. He wanted Nipsey to put him on top. He wanted to be, and again, this goes hand in hand with what I'm saying. Before I forget, here's how most men are, period. Regardless of your race and nationality, here's how most men are, period. I'm going to tell you how most men are. Again, and I said this on my podcast before, and I'm going to say it again. Most men want to be the it factor. That most men want to feel special somehow. They want to be, most men want to feel like they got something that nobody else has. Most men want to feel like they're the man. Most men, regardless of your race and nationality, regardless of all of that, most men want to feel like they're the man. Even you can be the biggest, tallest, the shortest, Humpty Dumptiest looking man, regardless what you look like. Every man mostly want to feel like they're special somehow. They want to feel like they're a Casanova. They want to feel like they're Don Juan. Most men want to feel that way, like somehow. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna give you a prime example, and I'm gonna give you guys an extreme example. Let's say, and I was just talking about this the other day, right? Okay, let's say I'm gonna use basketball as an example, right? I'm gonna use that as an extreme example and how men think. Let's say me, right? Again, I'm 6'5", so I'm built for basketball for the most part. I'm built for it, right? But I'm going to use this as an example. Even as built as I am for basketball, let's say, I'm going to say, for those of you guys out in Denver or wherever you guys are at, or for those out in Los Angeles or different parts of the United States and out in the world, shout out to everybody who listening to different parts of the world. Shout out to you guys. But here's an example, right? Let's say, I'm trying out for the Lakers. And let's say I want to be the center. I want to play the center for the Lakers. But let's use Shaq, for example. Shaq is like 7'2", right? But yet, even though, and let's say the center pays the most money. Let's say, not even that, not even the most money. Let's say being a center. Yeah, it pays the most money, and you get the most notoriety for being a center, right? Playing a center position. But here's how I am. Me personally, as tall as I am, I know Shaq is better fit for the role to be the center. But he's taller, he has longer arms than I do. So I understand that it'll be better for him to be the center than it would be me. You see what I mean? But most men don't have that mentality. You see, I'm gonna say, let's say, Marquise. I don't even know a Marquise. I'm just using a random name. Let's say Marquise is short. Let's say Marquise is 5'1", short, fat, and black. I'm just using as an example, right? Let's say Marquise, he's 5'1", about 300 pounds, right? He can't grab a rebound. He's out of shape, all of that. And then you have Shaq, who's also 300 pounds, who's 7'2". But let's say they gave Marquise had the decision. Let's say they put the decision in Marquise and they say, okay, Marquise, who do you want to be the center? It's either between you and Shaq. It's your choice, man. You're the one who's running the show. So it's up to you. You know what Marquise gonna do? He gonna put himself in the center position. Even though he knows Shaq is better fitted for the role, he gonna put himself in that position. You see what I mean? Because he wants to be the man. He wants to have the notoriety. He wants to be the one to feel special. Every man want to feel special. So he want to feel special himself. So he gonna put himself in that position versus having Shaq right there. You see what I mean? And here's what's gonna happen. Marquise gonna put himself as the center, and the Lakers gonna lose every single game. But knowing if you put Shaq as the center, Lakers gonna win. Marquise don't care about winning. He don't care about that. He just cares that he's the center. That's all he cares about. Lakers losing every game, not making the playoffs every year, because Marquise is the center. You know what I mean? He not gonna switch up because he wants to be the center of attention. He wants to have the notoriety. He wants the limelight. You see what I mean? He don't care if they losing. He don't care. And that's how most men think. Most men have that mentality. They want to be the center of attention. They want to be the man. They want to be the focal point. You see what I mean? They don't care if it's sacrificing your team record. They don't care if money's being lost. They don't care about none of that. And that's how it works with rappers too. Regardless of singers, whatever. So with that being said, that's how to do the buster who killed Nipsey Hussle. He wanted to be the center of attention. He wanted to be in the position Nipsey Hussle was in, even though he wasn't fit for the role. He wasn't fit for it. Obviously he wasn't fit for it. You see what I mean? But he don't care about that. He's still jealous and he wanted to be in that position. You see, and that's the sad true thing about men, period. You see what I mean? Sometimes fall back. Let somebody who really need that position have it. Somebody who really deserving and somebody who can fit that position, let them have it. Regardless of what it is. You see what I mean? But everybody want to call, every man want to be a chief. Nobody want to be an Indian. Everybody want to call shots. Everybody want to be a boss. Everybody want to be the man, the head honcho. Like, that's how most men are, period. You see what I mean? Regardless of the situation. You have the weakest, fragilest men who can't defend themselves physically, but they want to call shots though. They want to be in the position to call shots too, just like you are. You see what I mean? They want to feel like they got women on their like, say for example, let's say you have, I'm going to call him Pete. Let's say Pete. Pete goes to the gym every day. He works out. He's in great physical condition, ripped up six pack, just everything shredded up, right? Let's say Pete. Naturally, and let's say Pete has a cool look to him, and let's say you have, I'm going to say Pete, and let's say you have, Bob. I'm going to say Bob. I always use Bob, right? Bob is not in good shape. Bob don't work out. Bob, he's physically, he's unhealthy and all that, right? But Bob wants to get the same notoriety that Pete gets, even though Pete working hard to keep himself up, to be in mint condition with his body, Bob want to get the same notoriety that Pete gets, even though he don't work for it. You see what I mean? He still wants to feel like he's a man too. Just even though he don't work out and he's not in good shape, none of that. He still wants to feel special. He wants to feel like he's the man. So here's how I go. Let's say they left it up to Bob, right? That's okay, Bob. We have a photo shoot for I'm trying to think of a GQ magazine, right? It's either out of you and Pete. Who you gonna put on that cover shoot of the GQ magazine? Is it gonna be you, or is it gonna be he gonna put himself on that cover? You see what I mean? Even though if you put Pete on that cover, it's gonna sell more. It's gonna sell more copies. If you put Pete on that cover, people gonna want to buy. Like, wow, this dude is good looking, in good shape. Let me buy this magazine. But Bob don't care about that because Bob want to be the center of attention. You see what I mean? He don't care that if you put Pete on the front of that cover that it's gonna sell more copies. He don't care about that. Only thing he cares about, he's on that cover. That's all he cares about. And so he's going, of course I'm gonna put myself on the cover, because he wants the notoriety, he wants the attention. He don't care He don't care that it's not gonna sell no copies with him on it. But as long as he's getting that attention, that's all he cares about. If he feels he's getting that attention, so that's how most men are. Period. Regardless of age, they want to feel special. They want to feel like they're a man. They want to feel like they Don Juan. They want to feel like they're running something. You see what I mean? They want to feel like they got they want to feel like they're the it factor, regardless of what a man look like, regardless of his age, regardless of his race and nationality. That's just how men are. Period. For the most part. Me, I'm not like that. I know my position. I know what I'm good at and what I'm not. You see what I mean? Like, if somebody else better suited for something, I'll be more than willing to step down and let them handle it. I'm like, this is better for you, bro. It'd be better. Like, I'm the humble guy like that. You see what I mean? I'm not like, but it's sad most men don't have that mentality that I have. So, that's what it came down to. It's sad, man. With that being said, man, my heart goes out to Nipsey Hussle and his family. He was a beautiful being inside and out. I mean, he wasn't perfect. He made mistakes like the rest of us, but his heart was in the right place. He was trying to help the community. And, I'm glad I was able to share my experience, with you guys, with, Nipsey Hussle and with the buster who killed him. That's my personal experience. I'm going to sorely miss him. He's going to be missed, man, but he's never going to be forgotten. I can tell you that much. He's never going to be forgotten. He's like, his legacy's going to live on. So, and I definitely had to dedicate this podcast to him, solely to him. And I'm glad that I did. I'm real glad that I did. I'm really shook up. I really am. Wow. I think that, like, some people just bigger than life, man. Some people just bigger than life. He was one of them bigger than life figures, is what he was. And he's definitely gonna be missed. So this is the end of my podcast. For those who lasted this long with me, I greatly appreciate all of you guys. You guys are awesome for this. So yeah, I'm trying to think if I left anything out, if I forgot to say anything. I think I said everything. Real talk with VladBrad. I mean, that's what this is. That's what this episode is going to be. Another one of those. So yeah, real talk with VladBrad. This is where I usually do my, my social media handles. My YouTube is The Road of VladBrad. Check me out on there. My right here you can also check me out right here. KBLP LLC. Really awesome team of podcasters. My Instagram is VladBrad _world_1. I believe it is. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of it. I think VladBrad _world_1. Yeah. So that's my podcast. I mean my I can't even think straight that I'm so tore up. I can't even talk straight, honestly. But yeah. Follow me on Instagram as well. More podcasts coming soon. I mean, I was off for a second. I do my podcast every Friday now. That's when I usually do my podcast. So you guys know. Again, thank you guys for listening to me for as long as you guys did. With that being said, I'm gone.